Good morning, gentlemen. In this screencast, I'm going to go over some general hints for putting together your presidential book. There are several tasks that you'll need to complete today. We're actually doing a double civics class, if you didn't already know. So this video you can pause as you go through if you need to try something out. But I do need you to watch the whole thing to make sure that you get all of the hints that I will give you. The very first thing that you will need to do, and I'm going to switch over to my screencast here, is work on making the corrections to your essays. I have made corrections on all of the essays so far, and you can see here, if I go to Google Classroom, you'll see that I have made corrections on all of your essays. And so one of them I have up right here is Duran's, because I'm going to use his as an example. So right here, he'll need to go through, look at my corrections about replacing. There are some things that need to be added. I've made some comments here about adding some different things. And so it says add in a sentence to connect the line about civics class to the trip. So each of you may have some things that you'll need to add, and there's also some things to correct. That is your first step. So go through each of your essays and correct anything that needs to be corrected and add anything that needs to be added. Next, you're going to come over to the book template, and you're going to add some different things in, and I'll kind of go through some hints for doing that here in a second. The other thing that you're going to need open is on the civics class notes. Up here at the top is the link to the photos, and this whole album now, since you guys have added a lot of your pictures in, there are a lot of really good pictures in that people have added of the president and so forth. Like here, Jamari's got a nice shot of the president speaking, and then there's other shots of the president walking in. I know Keyshawn has a neat picture of the president walking in along with all of our others. I also added a picture in right here of the ticket. So you can use that picture of the ticket in your book, and you can crop it out and edit it however you want. So remember, if you want to get a picture, you do need to just click on it, and then one of your options is to more options is to download that picture. So if you want to use this picture, you will just download it, and then you'll have it in your downloads folder or right here, and then you'll be able to add it into your book. So let's go over to that book and take a look at some things that you'll want to do here. Most of you have already added a title, and then who it's by. Again, the dedicated to is just any person in your family or a friend or someone that you want to dedicate this book to. It's just a common thing that books have. So a little about me. This is where we're going to start. And so I'm going to use Duran's paragraph right here. There are two options here. You can just take your about me paragraph, which is right here what Duran has, and you can just copy it and you can paste it right into this part here. The other option is that you can grab a text box from here, which is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to paste that in here. Now, I'm going to copy this back here, and I'm going to paste it in. But the thing about that is I'm not going to take all of that. I'm actually going to chop this into about two parts. So I'm going to take this part, and I'm going to cut this part out, and I'm going to go to the next slide. I'm going to delete this here, and then I'm going to paste this in here. Okay, oops, let me get it. There we go. So now what I have is I have his first part here. I'm going to expand that to a minimum of 36 font. I can even go higher, but whatever I have, I want it to be the same on both parts. Now I can do this. I'll show you another trick here. One of the things right now, this text is not centered. I may want to center the text, or I may want to make it uniform. I like this uniform one because then it kind of stretches everything out so everything lines up with each other. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to kind of put this over here a little bit, and then I'm also going to change the font style on this. I'm going to change it to that cherry cream soda. Actually, that's a little bit big, so I'm going to change it to something different. I'm going to go just with my favorite is the Garamond there. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here, except you'll see that this one I've done a little differently. I've taken it and I've twisted it to the side, which you can do, and that kind of gives your text just a little different feel, a little bit different pop. It makes it look a little different. And now I'm going to change that. I want it to be the same size font. You want to have, if you have 2 pages, you want the fonts to be kind of the same. And so I'm going to go here and kind of put that there. And so this would be a good part here. I'm going to recommend this. I'll show you just a second. Let me get that back to 0. I'm going to put that here, and then I want to center it. And use these guidelines to help you center things on the page. Make sure this is back at 0, 0. So we're all good. We're all straightened out now. Now we're going to go add in the pictures. And for this first picture, I don't want you to use something from the day. I want you to use a picture of yourself that is not from the day that we visited the president. So you can grab, for instance, your picture from Sycamore, and you can grab that and you can drop that in here. So there's a couple ways. You can just drag it from a folder, or you can go to Insert Image and you can pull it off of your upload. So click Image to upload, and then you can grab it from there. So you can see this is the picture that I just dragged on there. Once you get there, so now we have this. We probably want to expand this a little bit, and he might want to do a little bit tighter crop on the face. So if you want to crop a picture, double click on it, and then you'll get these little nubs at the bottom, and you can crop the picture so that you'll be able to expand this to an area that fits for you a little bit better. And I'm going to take that out just a tad bit. And then you press return or enter, and then now it'll crop your picture, and then now he can kind of line this up here. And let's make sure we get all those guidelines, get it all centered up there. So now this looks pretty good. Now the other thing that he can do to kind of give this just a little bit more of a pop is he could even change the background. And I would recommend, there's 2 things that you could do on this. One is you could leave it blank. The other is you could give it a color, or you could put a picture. So if I just click change the background, you could put a picture in back of it and fade that picture a little bit. Or in this case, I'm just going to make it I'm going to make it kind of a very light greenish color. Actually, I'm going to go with a lighter gray on this one. That just makes it stick out just a little bit more in comparison. So now I'm going to flip over to the next one. And at this point, since I have a little bit about me on the previous page, I'm going to click here. And if you want to delete a box, you just make sure you click on the blue part of it, and then you can delete the whole box. I'm going to move this guy up a little bit so that it's kind of centered right there. And now what I'm going to do, since he says, I am currently a 7th grade and my favorite subjects are U.S. history and science. And one of the things we can do, this might be a good place to put a picture of Jesuit Academy. So if we just go to our tools, research, we may be able to get a picture of Jesuit Academy right off the web. The Jesuit Academy and see if it pops up. You could put in the picture of the Jesuit Academy seal. I wonder if we have a picture of the front of the school. We may not be able to get a picture of the front of the school, in which case, if you want, you can go to jesuitacademy.org, and then there is, I believe, a picture of the school scrolling through on one of these here. At least I thought that there was, but maybe there is not. Apparently there is not. So one of the things you could do is you could, for instance, put this picture of the whole school back there. You could take this picture that's right here, and then you could then crop it once you get it in there. So I'll use that one. There's that picture on the front page. So I'm going to take that picture that's on the front page, and then I'm going to drag it right in here. Now you're going to notice here what happens is, first of all, the picture is over my words. But before I do anything with that, I'm going to crop this so that the little enrollment information part is out. Press enter, and now I'm going to try and make this really fill up the page here. Okay, I'm going to make that nice and large. So there's Jesuit Academy. Yeah, it's maybe getting a little fuzzy, so I'm going to make that just a little bit smaller. Pull it over here. And what I'm going to do with this here, I'm actually probably just going to make this here. So it basically fills the width of the page. And then what I can do is I can send this to the back. So if you right click on it or just go to arrange, you can right click. If you right click, you'll see the arrange or order option. Or the other option is you can just go to up here and you can go to arrange and order. You want to send it to the back. Okay, and then if you want to bring it to the front, you just go send to arrange, go to order, bring to front. Now, while we're here, let's go to image options, and we're going to set the transparency so that it's kind of fairly transparent so that his words will shine through. Okay, so now he's got Jesuit Academy in the back. I might move this up top. There we go. And then now his words are kind of covered up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand these words. And this is one of the things that you'll want to do is change the size of words so that they fit on your screen. The other thing that you can do is if you now, instead of giving background color, oops, let me do that. Make sure we get our words here. So I want to pull this, and I keep doing that. So what I want to do here is undo that and grab from here. There we go. Grab this guy, pull it down a little bit. It takes a little bit of practice sometimes. Pull that up a little. And now it fits right there. Now what I can do is I can go to the fill color, and I can fill this in, and it just gives it a little more pop. But I might want to keep with that same gray theme that I had before. And now it's going to match. This page and that page are going to kind of match. So you can see a picture of Jesuit Academy, a picture of Drawn. And now we're moving on. So here we have getting ready. This is a part where you're going to want to, you have 4 slides for this. So on the getting ready paragraph, you're going to want to take this getting ready paragraph and divide it up either into 2 parts, 3 parts, or 4 parts. Since Drawn's isn't very long, we'll probably just divide it up into 2 parts and then put pictures on the other 2 slides. So I'll just use this as an example. I'm going to take his first 3 sentences here and put this one in. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to getting ready. I'm going to grab a new text box, and I'm going to put this in here. And this time, I'm going to probably change the background of the font. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to change that font size to 36. And then I'm going to change the style to that Garamond again, which it already is. And then I'm going to change the fill color. This time maybe I'm going to try a yellow background on that fill color. And I want to pull this down all the way so that everything gets filled. There we go. Now, since his paragraph is short and it's not going to fill up like 4 slides worth of material, I'm going to go here. And this is where I can probably delete this. So I click on the blue and then I press delete. This is where I can add in a picture from the album of students dressed up from the day. And so we're going to have probably a couple pictures of that. So one, we can just grab this picture right here. And then I can click here and download that. And now that I've downloaded it, I can go here and just drag it on up. And one of the things that you can do to make this nice, this particular one kind of shows everybody there, is make it fill the page, but don't be careful when expanding it. You don't want to make the picture look stretched like that. So I click undo, or stretched like this. So I click undo. So the best thing to do is when you want to expand the picture, hold down the shift key and then pull, and it'll make sure that the size remains correct. Then we want to center this so it lines up right in the center of the page. And now if we want to offset it just a little bit, that can make it kind of look neat. So there, that's a neat picture for that. Now on the next one, he might put in an individual shot of him dressed up. So in this case, you could put in the same picture. We could copy it and then put it on the next page, and then again delete this and go here, paste in, and then he could crop this picture. I double clicked on it again to get just him. Oops, there we go. And there we got just Drawn now. So now I press enter. I can kind of write the ship there. And now I can kind of expand that. So then it shows just him, an enlarged version of just him. Okay, he could also take another picture from the day too. And then, you know, maybe if you go, you could even put in a picture of a piece of pizza or something over there, because he said talking about eating pizza for lunch. Now he goes over here and he puts in the second part of the writing. So one thing to be careful with, and I'm going to show you just so I can close out the video and you guys can get to work. The last thing when you're doing this is you have to be careful. Let's say that you have a picture as a background. So let's say that he takes this picture and then he puts it as a background here. And I'll show you how you can do that. So he pastes it in, pastes in the picture, click on the picture, and then you adjust the transparency. The transparency makes it a little bit more see-through, like that. And we might even go even more. So now it's a pretty see-through picture. But he takes a text box now, puts it over here, and pastes in his words. Oops, do that. Let me grab these here. And paste in the words there. Now, if you notice here, even when I expand these words to size 36 font here, it's kind of difficult to see. Generally speaking, if you have a darker picture, you want to change the writing to a lighter color. So now that'll stick out. In fact, that color does not stick out. So if it doesn't, you want to test and just get a color that does kind of stick out a little bit more. So that sort of sticks out, not really. So this one would probably a darker color, maybe a darker green might stick out. It doesn't either. So you got to find a color that's really going to pop for you. Maybe this one. There we go. So even that. So in this case, maybe we want to, I just keep testing and adjust the transparency. Now maybe I can go with, there we go. Now, even that doesn't stick out that well. So one of the things that you can do that can kind of help with that, since this isn't sticking out all that well, is I can change the background of the box and give it just the slightest yellow here. Maybe like this, or gray. And that's a little too gray, so what I can do is go here, I can go to custom, and I can change the transparency of that. So somewhat complicated, but now you can see that this starts to stick out a little bit more. And even then, maybe again, I just want to change it, and maybe on this case, a dark writing will work. And that doesn't work too well either, so we'll try a white this time, see how that works. There we go. And none of it really works. I just have to keep messing with the fonts until they worked. But that's the main idea, so go ahead with your book, get in all the rest of the text and pictures as you go, and try and get as much of it done today as you can. That is all.